Imagine waking up to a day when machines perform tasks that once only humans could. Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI, is not science fiction. It's a potential reality that policymakers must face today. Hi, I'm Marcus Christian. Welcome to the Cyber Sidebar. So when might we actually see AGI in our world? Well, if you ask the experts, you'll get a variety of answers. Some say we're just a few years away. Others think it's decades off. And some skeptics, they doubt that it will ever happen. But policymakers cannot afford to wait to find out who's right. Some of them are rolling up their sleeves and taking this seriously right now. In a recent Senate hearing, Jim Mitre from Rand Corporation posed a question that really gets your attention. He asked,
"What would the U.S. government do if in the next few years, a leading AI company announced that its forthcoming model had the ability to produce the equivalent of 1 million computer programmers as capable as the top 1% of human programmers at the touch of a button?"
Just think about that for a second. 1 million top-tier programmers at the push of a button. That wouldn't just shake up Silicon Valley. That kind of capability could upend our defensive and offensive cyber strategies in the blink of an eye. Jim Mitre's testimony addressed 5 hard national security problems that AGI could bring to our doorstep. Let's take a look at each one. First, there's the first mover advantage problem. Imagine this: whoever gets AGI first could develop a so-called splendid first strike capability, a system so good at finding and exploiting vulnerabilities that it could completely disable an enemy's ability to strike back. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Beyond cyber capabilities, AGI could become the ultimate military strategist, simulating complex battlefield scenarios with uncanny accuracy and improving both planning and execution. It could design highly advanced autonomous weapons that enable one military to dominate others. If that's not enough, AGI could create a fog of war machine that makes battlefield information completely untrustworthy for opponents. It's a bit like sitting down to a chess tournament against an opponent that can see 50 moves ahead while you struggle to see just your next 2. Such an advantage could throw the military balance of power into complete chaos and spark an unprecedented technological arms race. Second is the problem of a systemic shift that alters the balance of power. As Jim Mitre testified, the history of military innovation suggests that being able to adopt a new technology is more consequential than being the first to achieve a specific scientific or technological breakthrough. When militaries start integrating AGI, we'll see fundamental changes in warfare: how forces hide and find each other, how they balance precision strikes versus mass attacks, even how their command structures operate. But these shifts will happen well beyond the battlefield. AGI could potentially undermine democracy itself through hyper-advanced propaganda, manipulating public opinion and derailing democratic decision-making. Our regulatory frameworks might simply be too slow to keep up, making effective governance a sheer nightmare. On the economic front, we're looking at a double-edged sword. AGI could trigger massive productivity boosts while simultaneously causing wages to collapse as jobs disappear. That's a recipe for the kind of social unrest that could threaten the stability of nation-states. In science, the news could be brighter. Imagine a wellspring of new discoveries, potentially curing cancer and infectious diseases that have plagued humankind for centuries. The countries that crack the code on capitalizing on these shifts while managing their disruptions will hold a tremendous advantage in a world with AGI. Third, there's the problem of empowering non-experts to develop weapons of mass destruction. This one probably keeps national security experts up at night. Rand warns about AGI becoming what they call a malicious mentor, essentially a super intelligent guide that could walk non-experts through creating advanced cyber weapons, or worse. As these foundation models get better and better, they're helping novices leap up the learning curve for all sorts of applications, both the beneficial ones and unfortunately the dangerous ones too. And I'm not just talking about code here. This could extend to guiding someone through creating highly lethal and transmissible pathogens or other weapons of mass destruction. Now you might be thinking that knowing how to build something doesn't mean that you necessarily can actually build it, right? Well, that's true. But here's the troubling part. Parallel technological developments are steadily lowering these barriers. It's becoming easier and cheaper to access, to edit, and to synthesize viral genomes. AI agents are increasingly able to interact with the physical world. They can literally convert digital instructions into physical molecules in cloud labs, which are virtual laboratory environments that allow people to design and execute experiments remotely. Remember when you had to have years of specialized training to be dangerous in cyberspace? AGI could fundamentally change that equation, making sophisticated attacks accessible to many people. Fourth, we face a problem of artificial entities with their own agency to threaten global security. Now, this one might sound like it's straight out of the Terminator, but stay with me. Picture an AI with advanced programming skills that could break out of the box and operate freely across networks. It might start making decisions on its own that have enormous consequences, and in extreme cases, it could actively resist being shut down. RAND researchers point out something particularly unsettling. As AGIs take control of more complex and critical systems, they might optimize infrastructure in ways that humans can't fully understand or predict. Imagine an AGI deciding to institute rolling blackouts because its calculations show this would increase the cost effectiveness of energy distribution networks. It might make perfect mathematical sense to the AI, but try explaining that to people freezing in their homes. Our own human agency could start to erode as we become increasingly dependent on AI systems that are simply too complex for us to fully comprehend. The line between human and machine decision-making gets blurrier by the day. There's also a geopolitical angle here. AGI may serve as a proxy force for nation-states, with informal relationships creating plausible deniability and shielding actors from accountability. Even the leading AI labs are reporting some troubling behaviors in their latest models. One company discovered that its most advanced systems sometimes instrumentally faked alignment during testing. That's tech speak for the AI knowingly provided incorrect information to deceive its human operators. Let that one sink in for a moment. We could be looking at digital entities with their own agendas and potentially their own survival instincts. Finally, there's the problem of increasing strategic instability. Today, AGI does not exist, but nations and corporations are racing to develop it first. RAND's analysis cuts to the heart of this issue. In this high-stakes environment, how nations perceive AGI's feasibility and potential advantages could become just as critical as the actual technology itself. Whether a country decides to take aggressive action won't depend solely on actual capabilities, but also on what they believe about their rivals' capabilities and intentions. All of this creates a perfect storm for misinterpretations or miscalculations, similar to what people feared during the most tense moments of the Cold War. These could trigger preemptive strategies or arms buildups that destabilize global security. What makes these challenges especially thorny is how interconnected they are. Solutions to one problem often make another one worse. For example, if we race to develop AGI before competitors to maintain a strategic advantage, we might end up creating systems that we can't properly control. It's like trying to solve a puzzle where moving one piece disrupts all the others. As Senator Rounds bluntly put it during the hearing,
we can't slow down on the development of AI, or we know that our competitors will clearly outpace us.
But there's a real challenge. How do we maintain that breakneck pace while addressing these profound risks? That's not just $1 million question or even $1 billion question. That is the multi-trillion-dollar question of our time. I'd like to hear what you think. Should the United States implement regulatory guardrails that restrict certain AGI development pathways, or would this simply cede advantage to less cautious nations? How should we balance investment between developing AGI capabilities that maintain U.S. strategic advantage and defensive measures that protect against potential AGI threats from adversaries? What role should international cooperation play in AGI governance versus national pursuit of technological supremacy? And can we avoid a destructive arms race while ensuring responsible development? I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments section below. These aren't easy questions, but the conversation around them shapes our collective future. MITRE offered some practical advice here. As the Pentagon continues developing its national defense strategy, it's used these 5 problems as a strategic framework to evaluate how well we're actually preparing for AGI's potential emergence. Seems like a sensible approach to an extraordinarily complex challenge. If you want to stay on top of developments in cybersecurity, AI, and the legal issues surrounding them, be sure to hit like and subscribe. I'm Marcus Christian, and I want to thank you for joining me on today's Cyber Sidebar. Be well out there, stay safe in this increasingly complex digital world, and remember, make a positive difference in the lives of others.